This is just one of his many marathons, and he has a bucket list.
I want to finish 50 states worth of marathons.
His first marathon came in 2012. So how does this race rank up against the others?
The crowd's amazing. I mean, I've been to bigger cities and had smaller crowds. This is a great marathon.
Back out on the water.
Well, that's a good one. That's probably over 23.
Nathan Horsch is helping people find walleye.
And they just got a keeper, too, so.
He's been a fishing guide for Nitty's Hunters Point Resort for 19 years.
17 and a half. Nice fish.
He says he's noticed changes in the lake and people's attitudes toward the lake.
You know, a Friday night out here, and there's not too many boats around, really. Yeah, there was a lot more. You know, you could keep fish back then.
Causing flash floods and road closings all across the Bayfield area. Downtown Solon Springs, Highway 7 in Drummond, County Road E in Mason, and the full extent of the damage is still unknown at this point. Through the heartbreak, Kistner and her family will continue to move forward.
At this point, we're just going to keep on keeping on.
In areas including Ashland, Solon Springs, Mason, Drummond, and Washburn. Several roads began to crack and give way after over a foot of rain fell in some areas. Many roads are impassable at this time, but the worst of it seems to be over.
So here we go.
Karen McTavish is unique.
Red bone for most quilters.
Whether it's her dreadlocks, her funky glasses, or the fact that she's a world-renowned quilter living in Duluth.
Karen, you do not look like the average quilter.
Yes, I do.
This 50-year-old, mother of 3, 2 kids, and her dog Rudy is anything but traditional when it comes to her personal style, but her quilting style says something different.
I have developed a fairly traditional style, and but then I look in the mirror and I go, whoa, you know, and it doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is.
Karen owns McTavish Quilting Studio in Duluth. She created a style of stitching that took off once it hit the internet and ultimately made her a celebrity in the quilting world.
McTavishing was a background filler. It kind of looks like water, and it's free-flowing, and it's very continuous, and I originally called it cartoon Wonder Woman hair.
But quilters who fell in love with this new technique disagreed with her on what it should be called.
Somebody saw it and they decided that it should be, you know, they said, what do you call that? That's amazing. And I said, cartoon Wonder Woman hair. And they said, that's the dumbest thing we've ever heard. And then they said, we're going to call it McTavishing. And it stuck really hard.
Karen has been quilting for nearly 20 years, but emerging into the quilting scene was not as easy for her as one might think.
And people would ask me when I first started how old I was. And I'm like, 32. And then I started like, gosh, if I just had gray hair, I would be legitimate. And then they'd accept me or whatever. And so I'm like, oh, I need some gray hair. And then I got it. And then people stopped asking how old I was. Was it okay if I quilted their quilt, you know, being young?
These days, Karen is teaching newbies and veterans of quilting how to use the technique for which so many know her. Sherry Carlson has been quilting for 35 years, but she is a new student to the art of McTavishing.
She's very hands-on, very kind of casually teaching and positively. It was fun.
When Sherry first met Karen, she immediately noticed her unconventional style.
I saw her with her hair, her dreadlocks, and her tattoos, and her bare feet in front of like hundreds of women. And yeah, she is probably not what a lot of people would think of as the traditional quilter, but quilting's changed a lot.
Cheryl Dennison has been working with Karen since the beginning of her journey and sees the impact Karen has had on the local quilting community.
Anybody that walks in, no matter what skill level they're at, very welcoming to get them working where they want to be working, doing what they want to do, learning what they want to learn. It's been great. I think that's why the community has embraced it so much.
Like her McTavishing, Karen is free-flowing and adventurous. You just never know where she'll end up.
Where will Karen McTavish be in 5 to 10 years?
I have a bucket list. One is I want to live in Alaska and be self-sufficient. Probably not going to happen because of something. I'll just freeze to death trying to bring in water. But that I kind of would like to get out of quilting at one point, but it's pretty doubtful. It's got its hooks in me.